What's up, gang? What's up, squad? SDS in the building? Maybe it's SDSSG, sourdough sad gang, or whatever. Um Happy Monday. How are you guys doing? See you guys. We'll let everyone get into the live, get into the chat, say what's up. Let's go East Side, Chris. So how are we feeling? What's the vibe? Again, more the Monday after the 49ers lose to the Seattle Seahawks. And I just wanted to get a vibe check. Wanted to get a vibe check real quick before we hop into this and get really deep into the postmortem, essentially, trying to pick apart some of the reactions, understanding what it means for the 49ers season, how everything is going up until this point. What's the vibe? What are we feeling? Drop it in the chat. I want to know. And then we'll get started down my path of thought processes and things of that nature. Sean says we just have to play a complete game in all phases. Started off fast though, which is very true. Zach says my vibe is not good. My vibe, my vibe is not good. ENT says was frustrated when we are only up by 7 in the first half, but ultimately I'm very happy Trey is now our starter. Can't wait for Sunday. Here's some optimism. Guaranteed win next week. I like that vibe. Kobe knows the vibe. Develop Trey is the vibe, which is absolutely 100% the vibe. 49ers are a little behind the 8 ball in that regard, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Niner gang, VZ says, I think we're going to shock the world and pull an upset against the Cards. We'll get into that a little bit and how I think about that as well. Nick says, I honestly don't think Trey is going to change much for us. I think most of it is on Kyle's play calling. It's a fair assessment. Andrew says, honestly, I felt better than I thought I would. Extrapolate Trey's game to a full game, and you were talking about almost 400 yards between pass and run and 4 touchdowns. It's a good way to look at it. Let's see what else we got. Gino says the season is not over. We're just getting started. Go Trey. The Ginger God back at it again. You know the vibes. Eastside Chris is very tough loss. 13 more games to go. Let's see what else we have. Bob says so much blame to go around. Kyle and Jimmy G need to get blamed, especially Kyle. He doesn't learn. He doesn't give quarterbacks the leeway to succeed. Danny says fragile Niners. All right. I think we get the vibes. It's a bit up and down. There's a reason why, I named this particular episode what it was. Are we in trouble? Is the season over? Is the sky falling, as George Kittle said yesterday in the press conference that it wasn't. But I know a lot of you guys right now are feeling that. I know there's a big sense of, man, this season honestly is just not going how we planned. It's just really being 2-2 at this point in the year. Losing the way the 49ers did against the Green Bay Packers, against the Seattle Seahawks, not how anyone really imagined this season would go. And of course, there's a lot of high expectations for this team. You bring back a lot of veterans, you add more pieces, you add more talent, and you expect this team to get back on track to what they were in 2019, right? And I think let's start there. I think that might be the fundamental flaw of this season. I think the fundamental flaw of this season, at least from a fan perspective of viewing and having expectations for this year, is thinking that it was going to be like 2019. 2019 was a very special year, but there was a lot of things that needed to come together for 2019 to be what it was. The 49ers did not, although they had won early on in the year, they did not start out strong. The offense sputtered. First 4 weeks of the year, maybe except the outlier against the Bengals. But for the most part, that 2019 year, you were operating with a Jimmy Garoppolo who was coming back from an ACL injury. It was his first full year as a starter. So he was kind of like a rookie in that 2019 year. And honestly, it really took the 49ers a couple weeks of that season to really get up to speed and get moving. So in that sense, I really don't feel like this season is over. I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people are ready to kind of turn it in and just call it what it is. Like kind of like Kobe was talking about, like the focus should be development. The focus should be developing your young players, developing Trey Lance, developing Trey Sermon, developing Aaron Banks, developing Ambry Thomas, developing Diamador Lenore, developing Talanoa Hufanga, developing these young rookies who will have an opportunity to potentially be impact players down the road, right? That's kind of the thought process. I get the sense that the 49ers internally inside that locker room, I don't think they think this season is over. I don't think they even think it's close to being over because on one hand, it's not. Mathematically, it's not. It's they're 4 games into a 17-game season. So there's still a lot of games to be played. And again, just like injury, just like we see in how it's occurred to our team, no other team is somehow impenetrable from getting injured. So we have no idea how this season plays out. We might think a team looks really, really good right now, but who knows? What if Russ goes down? What if Stafford goes down? What if Murray goes down? The season can flip in the blink of an eye for anyone, for literally anyone in this league. So I know a lot of what we do as football fans is we are very focused on the right now or the past or things like that. And sometimes that can affect our judgment a little bit because we hold certain expectations, which then misguide us and mislead us into how we interpret certain situations and things like that. But I really believe, again, you look at the Seattle Seahawks, they are not a better team than the 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, the only position that they really had that was any better was the quarterback position. The 49ers defensive backs did a pretty solid job containing DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I would say Emmanuel Mosley did a phenomenal job guarding DK Lockett. Just combined them both together. DK Metcalf, I thought Emmanuel Mosley did a phenomenal job. So there's an opportunity where you can see that the matchup down the road in Seattle, that could be a winnable matchup as well. But we're not going to get too over our skis and start going through every matchup and all those kinds of things. But that's how we're going to be going through this episode. We're going to be looking at through that lens of the season isn't over. Whether we think it's over, whether we feel it's over, it's not over. It's actually just beginning. And that's what I really like about this episode and really want to start talking about this episode is although it feels like it's over, it's just starting. It's just starting with Trey Lance. And I don't think people understand that. And I'll try to bring a little bit of clarity into what I'm talking about. Go back to training camp. When I was at training camp for over double-digit days, covering the team, covering practice, watching it all, watching the non-quarterback competition, which it wasn't. They really did not give Trey Lance any first-team reps. But I watched the whole situation play out, and I will talk about again, and I will always reference back to the first 2 days of pads of training camp. The first 2 days of pads of training camp, Kyle Shanahan absolutely unleashed Trey Lance against their defense, and Trey Lance was unstoppable. You could not stop him. He was doing everything with his legs, pushing the ball down the field with his arm. He was doing it all. He did it for 2 days in a row. If you guys recall that whole situation and how it played out, that was the first day of pads when Trey Lance just completely balled out. That was the day Jimmy Garoppolo stayed after practice, started throwing deep balls. Like it was an interesting situation. And the point of why I'm saying that is because I think based on maybe how Trey Lance looked at the beginning of the game, maybe how Trey Lance looked kind of moving into it, kind of getting through it, people might look at that performance and not be confident. And other people might look at that performance and be confident because, again, what is the context of the situation? With the 49ers threw a rookie quarterback into a game that they were down. And not only were they down, but they put in the rookie, again, who has not taken first team reps, has not been developed to be the starter, and is thrust into this position in his first like legitimate game playing time ever. And it didn't look great, right? It didn't look great. I think the first throw that Trey Lance attempted was in the dirt, to George Kittle. I think one of my favorite things about that, and I think George talked about it, is he said Trey said to him, if I ever throw a ball to you that low in the dirt, just kick it back to me. I don't deserve to get the ball thrown back to me. And I went back and I kind of watched some of the body language on the tape, and he matched that. I went and watched Trey, and his body language matched that. And I actually think of that as a sign of maturity. To be able to throw your first throw in the NFL, first throw of this game, and it be as putrid as it was, but to have the wherewithal to kind of joke it off with his all-pro tight end and move on to the next play. I think that is a huge sign of maturity. I know people don't look that deeply into evaluating these games and things like that, but to me, that's huge. To me, that is huge. And then you saw the progression throughout the game. What started to happen? What did all the players talk about pregame and postgame after that? They all referenced Trey settling down. Again, we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo go throughout the first 3.5 weeks having to settle down in it's hard to say, at least two of them. At least against Philly and at least against Green Bay, Jimmy Garoppolo had to settle down. It took him an entire half to settle down. And after that, he was able to get going. So the fact that we saw Trey Lance settle down in about a quarter and then really start to move again with a situation where the headsets are broken, there's no communication back and forth between the coach. He can't get in the plays. He's a rookie, so it's not, and hasn't been prepared as the starter. So it's not like he can just go out there and just freestyle an offense like a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers if the headset were to cut out. Like, it's not the same scenario. So part of the issues with Trey Lance looking uncomfortable, you have to imagine that's a part of it. And as the game continued, you saw Trey Lance be able to start to make plays and do all those kinds of things. I really believe that for this team, although there are injuries, and we'll get into all the injuries, we'll get into the offensive line, we'll get into the defense, we'll get into special teams here in a second. I'll come back to this one. I appreciate the super chat. But while we're on Jimmy, we're on the quarterback position right now. I look at this like we're just getting started, man. I'm excited. I don't know. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom around. Again, everyone keeps going back to, well, that means we're not going to win the Super Bowl. Like, just like automatically. Okay, that's fine. It's already hard enough to win the Super Bowl as it is. Super Bowls aren't guaranteed. Like, you could have a phenomenal team. You could win every single game like the Patriots did, go undefeated and lose the Super Bowl. It can happen. Like, that can happen. So the 49er fans need to kind of strip this Super Bowl or bust mentality because it was flawed from the jump. So once you strip that mentality, you understand that the 49ers are 2-2. They could be 3-1. They should be 4-0 at this point. Again, not playing their best game. I have a lot of optimism. Really quick, I'll answer this question about the kicker thing. What's going to happen with our kicker position? I don't know. I don't know. That I could go on a complete rant about this. The whole situation of paying Robbie Gould what he like the holdout, the kicker holding out, and then the 49ers paying him nearly a guaranteed contract. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So this whole situation, like, it just kind of feels like karma a little bit. Like we should have let Gould walk a long time ago. When he wanted to leave, we should have let him go. Um, and now we're just kind of, I feel like we're stuck. I imagine we're going to sign a kicker off the streets. The kicker off the streets is going to do just as good as Gould. And we're just going to be paying Gould whatever Gould gets. And we have to eat it because I don't know. I don't know. Again, this franchise clearly has a premium on specialists. You spend a fourth rounder on Mitch. Nothing against Mitch. Mitch has been phenomenal. Mitch got put in a really, really hard spot, having to come in and kick. Like that's hard, man. Even if he's a kicker, that's not what he does. So that puts him in a hard spot. He's a really good punter, but again, they spent a fourth rounder on him. So it's like they clearly have a premium on the position, but unfortunately, it just feels like that's a position that doesn't pay the return. It doesn't pay the return that you invest into it. So it's in regards to how the 49ers are going to move through this Robbie Gould situation. They're going to bring someone in off the streets. That person on the streets is going to look just as good as Robbie Gould. The whole fan base is going to go, why are we paying Robbie Gould this? And that's how it's going to go. And a sidebar, I am in over 12 leagues, 12 fantasy leagues. Only 2 of them are redraft. All the rest are dynasty. Every league has kickers taken out of it. Every league I'm in has no kickers. The only league I have kickers in is a dynasty league. I don't know why they have kickers. But guess who my kicker was? Robbie Gould. And I'm probably going to lose my matchup because of that blunder. So shout out Robbie Gould. Again, nothing to do with anything, but just how I feel. Let's get back to the quarterback position, though. So I know there's a lot of unrest about this. But honestly, this is how I felt for quite some time. I felt like I talked about my whole vibe changed probably about a week before the season, 2 weeks before the season, because I really felt like Trey Lance was a better quarterback. Again, that was coming from me being in training camp. That was me watching both quarterbacks go back and forth every day in practice. A lot of what we've seen from Jimmy Garoppolo these last 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks is exactly what we saw every single day in training camp. I can't look back. I can go back to I have all kinds of notes, man, from training camp. These are all training camp notes. I don't know if you can see them. I have terrible handwriting. Every day I went to training camp and we're drawing up notes. We're writing up notes of everything that's going on at training camp because I have to be able to come back, do my lives, and talk about it. There wasn't a practice where Jimmy Garoppolo had a seamless practice, like where there wasn't a poor throw, there wasn't an interception, there wasn't just knucklehead play where you're like, why is a veteran doing that? So everything that we saw at a training camp from Jimmy Garoppolo, we saw throughout the first 3.5 weeks of practice. But the reason why my tune changed, still understanding, seeing that in practice, seeing what Trey Lance has, seeing his ceiling, I understand that there's an order of operations. Jordan Elliott from Niners Nation did a really good job of kind of putting this into perspective where it really made it click for me. It's really hard. It's really hard to go out week 1 with Trey Lance as a starter. You take Jimmy Garoppolo, you put him on the bench. What if Trey plays bad? What if Trey doesn't look great? What if Trey kind of looked like we saw in that first drive? What if we saw that? Oh gosh. Hold on one second. Damn it. All right. We'll see. No, I just got some news. It wasn't great. wasn't great news on Trent Williams. Wasn't great on Trent Williams. I don't know if I have the liberty to speak about what it is, because I don't want to be the breaking news. But I just got some information about Trent Williams, and I'll just say that it's not good. It's not good. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out. We'll see what's reported. But I don't like that. I don't like that. Damn, dude. It sounds like it's going to be a long-term injury. I don't know if it's going to be for the entire year. I don't know the exact diagnosis of how long that takes to heal. But I would imagine it's going to be some time. So that's unfortunate. that sucks because Trent Williams was playing at the highest level I've ever seen an offensive lineman play. I've never seen an offensive lineman play like Trent Williams was playing this year. So absolutely terrible. Again, we'll probably hear it reported here. Maybe next couple minutes, maybe the next hour. I would have to imagine if I'm getting this now, the reporters are going to be getting it soon. So like I said, we're just going to wait. We're just going to wait for them to put it out. And then we'll roll with it. I'll just say that it's not looking good. It's not looking good. That's going to be a hard one. So I guess we'll transition that into, again, is the season over? Again, I went into this episode having a pretty good idea that we were going to be down from Trent Williams for some time. It seems like that's being confirmed. He will be down for some time. The amount, I won't speculate. I won't talk about it too much because I don't know. I just really don't know. So it could be, I'm reading here on it. I mean, again, I'm trying my hardest not to spill the tea. It doesn't appear to be season ending. It doesn't appear to be season ending, but it does appear to be like a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half of the season. So we'll see. We'll wait for the actual reports, the official reports to come out. Again, I got some information. I'm trying not to divulge too much because, again, it's not my place to share this information. So it is what it is. But just brace for Trent Williams being out for, I don't know, maybe 2 months. Just brace for it. But damn it. So yes, on this Monday, Trent Williams went down. Sounds like Trent Williams will be out for some time. And as a result, that means Jalen Moore steps in. On one hand, thankfully, because of Trent Williams not playing in the preseason, that meant Jalen Moore got a lot of reps. That meant Jalen Moore got a ton of reps at left tackle. And as a result, we've done quite a few breakdowns on Jalen Moore, and we're actually feeling pretty good about Jalen Moore. Now, is Jalen Moore a finished product? Absolutely not. Is he a finished product in the run game? No, I think he still needs to, again, come up to speed in the run game. But as a baseline pass blocker, I think Jalen Moore is pretty good. I think he's pretty good. Jason Gold says it right here. Moore's first game, he gets Chandler Jones, which is going to be one of the toughest ass imaginable. It's going to be one of the toughest ass imaginable for a young rookie left tackle to go up against a guy like that. But at least, like I've talked about, and kind of transitioning this conversation back to Trey Lance and why I don't think the season is over, even with substantial injuries to guys like Trent Williams, is because Trey Lance is so dynamic. I think we were able to see that last game, is that Trey Lance has this very strong pocket ability, pocket awareness. You can even see some instances where defenders got their hands on Trey Lance in the pocket, but but Lance is so strong. He just rips off. Like if you get your like a hand full of jersey on Lance, he has the strength to be able to rip out of that. So now, are we going to go up against a good test against the Arizona Cardinals? Absolutely. With a rookie left tackle getting his first substantial playing time in the NFL against one of the best defensive players, arguably some of the better young linebackers. I think Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons. Is my blanking on his name? I think they're fantastic. So it's going to be a good test. The Arizona Cardinals they're good on all three levels of their defense. But I'm really excited to see how Trey Lance operates. And again, why it might not be as dramatic, like let's say if Jimmy Garoppolo was still at quarterback, because Jimmy Garoppolo is a bit of a statue in the pocket. He is going to hang in the pocket. He's not going to look for those escape lanes. He really is just kind of sitting in there waiting for something to come open. He really doesn't use his legs to his benefit to create more time and create second nature type plays. So that's the difference is with Trey Lance, with the ability to now run zone read, this is where it gets very crucial and how the change of quarterback works. We could run zone read away from Chandler Jones all day. All day. Leave him unblocked. Like literally leave Chandler Jones unblocked. That is the beauty of what Trey Lance brings to this offense. So with the zone read, when you're doing what you call, the handoff at the mesh point, when the quarterback is reading whether the defensive lineman is crashing down the line of scrimmage to stop the run, or if the defensive end holds his position as edge container and stays right there at the line of scrimmage, which is his responsibility. And then that's how you neutralize a Chandler Jones with someone like a rookie tackle and Jalen Moore. Okay, we're not going to block him at all. We're just not going to block Chandler Jones. And you know how we do that? We operate zone read and zone read RPOs. So whether it's going to be a pure handoff or whether it's going to be a zone read and or run pass option, this is what Trey Lance brings to the table. This is what Trey Lance will able to do and help mitigate some of the issues that the 49ers have. Now, that takes Kyle Shanahan as well. And I understand that a lot of the fan base right now isn't very happy with Kyle Shanahan, and I understand why. And Caesars 11 says, I truly believe the season is over if the offense doesn't turn it around today. And we'll see, man. Again, we kind of have to think of this as a little bit like a reset. It's a little bit like a reset of this year because, again, Trey Lance hasn't been preparing as the starter. That means his offense hasn't been preparing the type of offense that I was just talking about, the zone reads and the zone read RPOs. They're not doing those like they would if Trey Lance had been starting for the last 6 weeks. The offense would be in a much different place. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to see a new offense, and this new offense is going to be different than what we have seen up until this point. Did we see that yesterday? No, we didn't. No, we didn't because they were down. They had to come back quickly. They basically had to throw. They had to do all different kinds of things to try to get back into this game, get back. And they weren't able to establish anything. So the thing is the 49ers get a bit of a reset here, whether you guys like to think about it or not. They get a bit of a reset here. They get an opportunity now to install a very different type of scheme, a very different type of offense that fits a very different type of quarterback, which opens up a lot of things for who? The offensive line, the wide receivers, and the running backs. I think people need to kind of I know there's a sense of panic and there's a sense of unrest and a sense of what does the future hold? But at the same time, the future to me is exciting. The future to me is exciting because I understand with Trey Lance comes a new offense, comes new ways of attacking defenses that currently they haven't really seen from the 49ers. So I think Trey Lance is going to be a successful quarterback. I really do. I think he has the ability. I think he has the arm talent. And he's going to be a rookie quarterback who's going to take his lumps. He's going to make bad reads. He's going to make bad throws. He's going to make inaccurate throws. He's going to make poor decisions. But we also have to recall that's supposed to happen. He's a rookie. The problem that we were watching play out in front of us was that we were watching all of those things happen with a veteran. And that's the difference is we were watching all of those same things occur. Bad reads, bad throws, inaccurate throws, poor pocket awareness, poor this and poor that. That was happening from a veteran. That was happening from a veteran who has been with this coach in this system for years. So now I really think there's an opportunity for a bit of a reset, a bit of a start over. And that to me is exciting. That to me is exciting because, again, I watched it. I watched it in person all throughout training camp. The only problem with training camp was they never gave Trey Lance the opportunity. They never gave Trey Lance the opportunity. And now he's forced into the opportunity. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what comes of that. And I think people automatically assume a regression and the offense is going to occur. I think it's the opposite. I think we're going to see the offense move a little better. I think we're going to see defenses play the offense completely differently because that's what we were watching. Again, you go back to the Green Bay tape. I haven't really picked apart the Seattle game yet because I don't have the all 22. But you go back to that Green Bay Packer game and people are like, well, why did the Green Bay Packers beat the 49ers the way they did? Because they knew what we were doing and they were daring us to stop it or do something else. And we weren't, whether it was the quarterback, whether it was the coach, we weren't adjusting to what they were doing. They weren't. And that was a problem. Well, guess what? Now you have a quarterback who like Arizona, they have no clue. I don't think people understand that. Arizona has no idea what the 49ers are going to do to them this Sunday from a game plan perspective. When it was Jimmy Garoppolo in there, extremely predictable. We talked about it all the time. We talked about it live during the watch party yesterday. All you have to do is stack the box. Hold on one sec. We got some news coming through. Michael. What? Okay. The 49ers are hosting Michael Kendricks. We signed him for a day. Then he got hurt, and then we cut him. Linebacker Michael Kendricks is being hosted. Interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with our current linebacker depth or core. That's interesting. So the 49ers are trying out Michael Kendricks. That's the news. I will let you know of any other news that drops here in a second. Like I said, I'm waiting for the Trent news to officially drop. That's what I'm waiting for. But again, what the point of what I was talking about is the 49ers head into the matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Arizona Cardinals defensive coordinator doesn't know what to scheme against. He's going to be scheming against RPO stuff or zone read stuff. That's what he's going to be doing. But at the end of the day, they don't really know. The Cardinals don't know. So the 49ers have a bit of an advantage, at least in that regard. Again, I know a lot of people are out. On Kyle Shanahan. But at a certain point, we have to look at that function of the offense and be like, that was both Kyle and Jimmy. That was both Kyle and Jimmy together. We don't know like how Jimmy was operating the scheme and what he was doing, if he was doing the things that he should have been doing. Um, that was on those two. It was on those two together. But now you take out Jimmy, and now you add this complete element of unpredictability. Complete element of unpredictability. And so what that does for an opposing defense is how do they prepare? How do they prepare? Who knows? And that's why I'm looking at this as the season's not over. Again, I saw someone say stop trying to vouch for Kyle. I don't know if I'm vouching for Kyle or what's going on. But I really believe that there was a situation going on between the way Kyle Shanahan called games and the way Jimmy Garoppolo played the game. I think those two are one and the same issue. So now what we're going to see is what occurs when Kyle has another type of tool in his tool chest, because we understand Jimmy Garoppolo was that old reliable tool that was going to be able to, you know, put you in a position to move the ball, be able to maybe will you back to a couple wins and things like that. But we also understand Jimmy Garoppolo has limitations. We also understand Jimmy Garoppolo continued to do the same things over and over again over a 4-week sample size, and that defenses were selling out to stop, and there weren't adjustments being made. So the silver lining, in my opinion, is that the 49ers now have an opportunity to reset. Now, is it beneficial that they're resetting after week 4? Not really. Not really. But it's also beneficial because it's only week 4. The 49ers have a lot of football left in them. There are a lot of games left to be played. The 49ers selected Trey Lance number 3 overall for a reason. However, he wasn't developed to be the starter. All right. Well, now we're going to see what Trey looks like when he has a chance to be developed. He gets a first crack at Arizona Cardinals, who are going to be a really, really good team. Really, really good team. And I guarantee you, as we sit here right now on this live, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are bummed out. A lot of people think the season is over. But guess what? If the 49ers go into Arizona and Trey Lance led offense takes down a really, 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 really good Arizona Cardinals defense and an offense led by Kyler Murray, we are on that Monday show on the opposite side of that week. And I'm going to be like, see what we're talking about? Remember what we were talking about last week? Remember? Now, obviously, it could go the other way, but there is an opportunity in front of us where the 49ers get a slight reset. Now, it sucks that the 49ers lost Trent Williams. There's no, that's awful. Injuries, we can't change. We can't change injuries. But however, we can scheme around injuries. We can scheme around deficiencies. And if a perceived deficiency is our left tackle, well, we have a quarterback who can play, and we can take away their best player just because of their quarterback and by running zone read. Again, you don't have to block. You don't block the DNs in zone read. You don't block them. That's the beauty of it. You let them free. You run your zone reads off of what they do. They either stay and hold contain, or they crash down to stop the run, and that's when you pull it as a quarterback and you hit the edge. There are so many things now that the 49ers can do to actually push this offense further. And so that is the hope. We'll find out how they look against the Cardinals. Like, we don't know. We don't know. We saw good things from Trey Lance against the Seattle Seahawks. We saw bad things from Trey Lance from the Seattle Seahawks. Again, playing football is about mitigating the issues and being consistently positive as much as possible. So there's still a chance. And with what we saw from Trey Lance, the way he settled down, the way the game seemingly started to slow down, I can see that continuing. I can see that progress moving forward. I can see Trey Lance becoming more comfortable, becoming more settled quicker, understanding the offense better, understanding how to execute better. So, is it a bit of a shock? Yeah, it is, but we also kind of saw what we had with Jimmy. We saw what we had with Jimmy. We saw what we had with Jimmy, and that was a unfortunately, it was a big reason why this offense wasn't successful. There was no creativity. There was no imagination in regards to the play calling. It was just not good. And unfortunately, Jimmy Garoppolo would go back to the well time in and time again, and they were waiting for it, and they were sitting on it. So I don't think that's going to be. I think that's going to be a welcome change. I think it's going to be a welcome change. Obviously, we'll see how it works out with the rookie who's got to develop and all those things. But that being said, the 49ers have still some decent weapons. If you look at Deebo Samuel, who is leading the NFL in receiving yards, Deebo Samuel has an opportunity to help continue to get the ball and continue to do a lot of things after the catch. So that is going to be a big function of Kyle Shanahan. How do we create low risk, high reward plays that gets the ball in the hands of our playmakers? Not just Deebo Samuel, but Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Trent Sherfield, Mohamed Sanu. How do we get the ball to these guys? Oh, who else? Get the ball to Ross Dwelly. 100%. I agree. This is one of my favorite guys from training camp. This was one of my favorite guys from training camp because he is there at that level. We saw that. We saw that nice touchdown grab that he had. He did a little box out on the defensive back, was able to get the separation and put his body in between the ball and the defender, and he was able to bring it down. It was really, really nice. It was really nice. And Dwelly deserves more opportunity. We need to keep getting the ball to Juice. We need to get the ball to Ayuk. That's where Kyle comes in. And I really believe Kyle will have more opportunity to do that with a guy like Trey Lance, because I'll tell you about Trey Lance based on what I watched in training camp. I watched Trey Lance take shot after shot. Let's say Trey Lance came out, made a poor play, and this was the difference in all my notes that I took from training camp, watching both quarterbacks go back and forth. When Trey Lance made a mistake, whether it was an interception, whether it was a poor read or poor throw, he literally it did not affect the way he played. It was on to the next. It was short-term memory, and he's still taking shots. He's still trying to fit balls into like really hard spaces and all those kinds of things. Whereas on the opposite side, if Jimmy Garoppolo is having a really, really good day of practice, and let's say he threw a bad ball or a bad pick, Jimmy would spiral. Jimmy would then, like, his play would deter and go down. So I really believe that is a big function of why the offense hasn't been successful. It takes Jimmy a really long time to get comfortable and build up a certain level of confidence, and then get him in the right spots. With Trey, I can feel pretty confident that this dude is just going to keep slinging it. He's just going to keep going, and keep going. And I think that's going to be an underrated aspect of this team. A lot of fans have liked the idea and notion of trading for Vikings cornerback Cameron Dantzler. He was just placed on the reserve COVID-19 list, so not sure if Dantzler is actually in play or not for the 49ers, but I know he's been talked about quite a bit. Catch me up on this. What do you mean, Brad? People talking about team building. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I would like to know. So Trey's gonna I mean, I like this energy. I like this energy right here. I like this energy, and I think I think a lot of fans forget that. So I understand, though. I get it. The 49ers and how they have played the last 4 weeks has not been inspiring. Um, Andrew said, "Hey Brad, remember at the end of the preseason I asked you if you thought Gould was going to be a liability this year? I don't know what I said, but I don't know." So Chasing Gold says, "Brad, give me your confidence in Shanahan after the first quarter of the season." So as you guys know, man, as you guys know, I mean, if you've been around, I know Chasing Gold, you've been around. I know guys like Keith and Sean and Gold Blooded and Rome and some of these other guys. I know you guys watch me regularly. And so you kind of follow along with the opinions and help string them together like I do when I observe other people as well. Um, and I'll be 100% honest. My confidence in the way Kyle Shanahan handled this quarterback situation was at all-time low levels. I don't think Shanahan managed this offseason well in regards to an optics standpoint, in regards to how it translated and has created so many issues, not only in our fan base and in the media, but like you split a locker room. Like you force a locker room to pick sides when you do what you do. So that's why Jimmy Garoppolo started. That's why Jimmy Garoppolo was the starter. That's why Jimmy Garoppolo got first team reps. It became an issue much bigger than the actual thought at hand, which is finding a serviceable quarterback that's going to win football games. It became much bigger than that. It became much bigger than that again, because you remember every single one of these players, whether it was Juszczyk, whether it was George Kittle, whether it was Fred Warner, whoever it was, all season they're going on Good Morning Football. They're going on the Rich Eisen show. They're going on NFL Network, and they're talking about the quarterback. Well, who's your quarterback? Who's your quarterback? What did they say every single time? Jimmy Garoppolo is my quarterback every single time. And what do you expect them to say? Those guys in that locker room do not have the same view or perception as fans because they see these guys every day. They go to war with these guys every day. So they are going to have their back till the end, especially a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who has gotten a lot of unfair criticism throughout his career, whether you like it or not. He has. Um, but unfortunately, he hasn't been able to outplay that unfair criticism. It actually kind of feels like now Jimmy Garoppolo is what that criticism was. So, but that doesn't change the fact that that locker room is going to go to war for that guy. That doesn't change that fact. It doesn't change the fact that George Kittle, Fred Warner, Mike McGlinchey, Trent Williams, they'll all go to war for Jimmy Garoppolo. And you create that as a coach. You create that as a coach when you flirt with every other quarterback out there. You try to trade for other quarterbacks. You draft the quarterback, all that kind of stuff. All this like negative conversation around the quarterback, you have to kind of look at Kyle Shanahan a little bit. So am I confident in Kyle Shanahan, the master manipulator of media? No, I'm not. I don't think Kyle should try to dip his toes in those waters again, because we've already seen what the media has turned on him because of the whole Mac Jones situation. 49ers fans are starting to turn on him because of the Jimmy Garoppolo versus Trey Lance situation. I don't think he has a true understanding of like how these words that he said and moves he said are perceived by other people. So that portion of Kyle, I'm not very confident about. However, I'm starting to feel like that might not be a problem anymore, because if Trey Lance is the quarterback, what the next question is, which I would actually like to ask you guys, is If Trey Lance plays 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, do you put Jimmy Garoppolo back in? Do you take Trey out to put Jimmy in? I want to know what you guys think before I keep going. I just want to get a baseline understanding of what you guys think. If that works, I see no, Trey's ready. A big no. A big no. No, nope. Another no. A hell nah. That was his last game as a Niner. Man, I can't even keep up. No, Jimmy's done. No. He limits the offense. Oh, there we go. We got one. Put Jimmy back in. We got one. We got a maybe. We got one yes and one maybe. Hell no. Oh, another yes. No. He gone. Game over. So this is this now. We got another yes. Where'd it go? There it is. Cassidy says yes. So I don't. Again, we're fans. We're not in that locker room. The only way you can really answer this if you're in that locker room. But the thought process is if Trey Lance is your future and Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have a future with this team in 2022, why do you go back to Jimmy Garoppolo at this point? And especially if Trey Lance plays well, or Trey Lance shows promise, or Trey Lance shows potential, then we're talking about a situation of, okay, are we going to further damage Trey's mental development? Again, I would say it's already taken a hit. Brought into a franchise, entered a locker room, and is the other guy immediately, like we talked about. Not only does it work for Jimmy, but it works for Trey too. Oh, yeah, it's great that you have all the veterans coming out saying, oh, yeah, we're Jimmy's our quarterback. Well, how do you think that makes the young kid feel? Now, whatever, it is what it is. I know fans don't care about players' feelings. But if we're going to talk about development, we're going to talk about mental fortitude, we're going to talk about cerebral awareness and ability to move forward as a professional quarterback, as a 21-year-old, that would have some impact. On me. Have some impact on me if I came in coming in to take the my boss's job essentially, and everyone that works at that establishment already still wants that boss to be the boss, yet here I am, I'm the boss in training, I'm just waiting to take your job. Like, that can put you in a bit of an awkward spot. That could put you in a bit of an anxiety-ridden place. So again, do you flip-flop back and forth between that? Or do you just say, Jimmy, we gave you as many opportunities possible to be able to lead this team, but unfortunately, as Kyle Shanahan would go on to reference, why they traded up to get a quarterback is because Jimmy Garoppolo can't stay healthy, right? That's what he said over and over again. I did a whole pod episode on it. On Kyle Shanahan talking about why they were moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. It's because of the injury concern, right? Well, here we are. So at that point, do we go back and forth? Do we flip-flop? And the other aspect of it is, what if Jimmy Garoppolo comes back and tears his ACL? What if he comes back, pops his Achilles, rips his calf completely off the bone, and he's out for a year, which then locks in his contract? There's a lot of things at play here. So a lot of things at play here. So honestly, how I look at it is that this is a new beginning. This is a new chapter. This is, again, unfortunately for Jimmy Garoppolo, the this is the end of the Jimmy Garoppolo era, in my opinion. I don't see how you can go back. I don't see how you can go back. I feel like you gotta rock with Trey at this point. You have to let Trey learn. You took away his offseason by having any ability to run with the ones, implement his offense with the ones, and do all those kinds of things. So he's behind the eight ball. And with Trey Lance behind the eight ball, are you going to put him further behind the eight ball if you continue to like swap him back and forth between Jimmy and Trey? At a certain point, oh my goodness. Thank you, Gray Fox. Whoa. Watch out, coach. Watch out, coach. You got some competition here. Oh, good looks, Gray Fox. I appreciate you. Gray Fox says, "Hi, Brad. I think Shanahan is safe until 2023, and now we will see if he can really develop a quarterback." Facts. Maybe I'm ignorant, but I'm not sure if Scangarello is the right quarterback coach for Lance. Well, that's not a bad point. You think about the quarterbacks that Rich develops. Again, Rich brought developed Nick Mullins, also brought Nick Mullins over to Philadelphia. That didn't work out too well. We pretty much swapped quarterbacks with Philadelphia, right? We bring in Sudfeld. Sudfeld doesn't match Trey Lance's skill set or ability. So I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that's actually a strong point. I think if you go back to the quarterback collective, which Kyle Shanahan and his agent operate in regards to grooming young quarterback talent and young quarterback coaches to allow these guys to have a path towards NFL success, I would say Scangarello's he's pretty prototypical. He's pretty prototypical in that sense. Um, I would say. I would say he's pretty prototypical in the sense of developing quarterbacks. So that's actually not a bad point. It's actually not a bad point. We can look back at Kyle Shanahan and what he did with RG3. But we know how that situation ended and all that stuff goes. So we'll really have to see. I would say right now that I'm not particularly like thrilled with how the 49ers have developed Trey Lance. And this goes back to January conversations. This goes back to January pods when we were talking about the draft and talking about all that kind of stuff. We were talking about, does Kyle Shanahan even want a rookie quarterback? Does he want a rookie quarterback? Because I wanted a rookie quarterback, but I don't think Kyle wanted a rookie quarterback. And you know what? I don't think Kyle did. Kyle tried to get Deshaun Watson. He tried to get Stafford. He tried to get Sam Darnold. He tried to get Flacco. Like, he tried to get all different kinds of quarterbacks before they decided to go up and get the rookie. So I think they really wanted to get a veteran. I think they really, really wanted to get a veteran. I think they really, really wanted to get away from having to develop a rookie. And I would say that they haven't done a phenomenal job up until this point of developing him because they've been juggling. They've been juggling the Jimmy Garoppolo show. So when you're juggling the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, that has an impact on the young rookie coming in. So, yeah, I agree, though. I think Shanahan is safe. I don't think Shanahan has anything to worry about in regards to his job stability this year or even potentially next year because, again, he just signed a 6-year contract. He just signed a 6-year contract. Like, it is what it is. He's not going anywhere. Whether we like to think he is or not, whether we approve of how he's managed his quarterback situation or not, I don't think he is. He just signed a 6-year contract extension. So I agree with you, Gray Fox. I think he's safe. And now we're really going to understand, like you said, will we see if we can develop a quarterback. We're going to find out. But thanks again to my guy. I'm not sure I've ever seen the Gray Fox around here, but dropping a 50 bomb, that's how you make a first impression. Let's go. We see you, Gray Fox. Come through anytime you would like. We appreciate that. Now, let me get the Jedi up here. Jedi said Jim Harbaugh, 49ers, collision course reunion. You're saying bring Jim Harbaugh back? Oh, no. I can't see that. I can't see that. Honestly, I can't see that. That would be like the same thing of Trent Baalke coming back, is Kaepernick coming back, is like I think that's all kind of the same umbrella. I cannot see Jim Harbaugh coming back. I think there's too much bad blood. Again, you remember him and Jed. You remember that infamous last hug shot of Jed York and Jim Harbaugh right before Jed fired Jim? Yeah, good thought, but I can't see that. I can't see that happening. I can't see that happening, unfortunately. Let's go. I'll take give me Scout. Give me Scout, or like a personnel. Give me like a personnel position. I'll take a personnel position. Give me a scouting position, or maybe a personnel position. I don't want to be the head coach. I would never want to be the head coach of an NFL team. There's way too much responsibility, way too much stress, just like Kyle's having to deal with, man. Way too much. Oh, tinfoil Brad for head coach. Let's go. Hey, if I was head coach, you guys would have to try and piece together every single thing that I said, because I would never tell you the truth. I would make you think so many things that were not true just to throw you guys off my scent. You guys would have to. I would be like, for my first press conference, I'm like, all right, you guys got your tinfoil hats ready? You got your tinfoil hats ready? Because you're going to have to decipher everything I'm saying to you. Oh, man. So anyways, that's funny. That's funny. But back to kind of getting back on topic. Again, shout out you guys for the super chats. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Really awesome. But again, let's try to take a step back. I'll open it up for a little bit for questions here in a couple minutes. I'll try to finish my last couple thoughts. I don't think this season's over. I don't. I know it feels over. I know it feels like if Kittle got real hurt, I'd probably have a little bit of a different tone. I'd probably have a little bit of a different tone if Kittle got hurt. If you were watching the live during the game, you literally saw me almost break down. Like I almost crucified Jimmy by my own better judgment. I was really upset. I was really upset by that throw. I was really upset by the culmination of all the stuff. I was really upset because, again, if a rookie did that throw, I'd be like, that's a rookie. We'll take it easy. We will we'll work through some of those growing pains. This guy's freaking damn near 30 years old, man. Jimmy Garoppolo's been here. He's done that. He had a clean pocket, almost got his boy killed. I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. So that's why I guess maybe I'm a little bit more optimistic about this year, is because I really feel like a big portion of the issues with the offense surround Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Kyle Shanahan, 100%, he deserves a lot of this blowback, and a lot of people are saying accountability, right? That's the word that's getting thrown around a lot, accountability. Yes, Kyle needs to be accountable for this situation, just like any head coach does. But Jimmy also has to be accountable. Jimmy almost got his boy killed for the second time in 2 years. Like, we can't do that. We can't do that. I mean, Jimmy has Super Bowl experience. That didn't stop him from almost getting his boy's leg amputated because he can't keep the ball down. He can't not sail his throws. Like, and was that a function of his calf? I don't know. Now it's apparently his calf. So at a certain point, the rookie is here. The rookie is on the roster. The 49ers traded multiple first-round picks, ripped the Band-Aid off. It is what it is. It's time to move forward with Trey Lance. It's time to build an offense and a scheme around Trey Lance, and it's time to move forward. It's time to move forward. Turn the page. A new chapter has begun, and we're going to see what that chapter looks like this week, week 5, October 10th, 1:25 Pacific Standard Time in Arizona against the Cardinals. That's when the new chapter begins, and we're really going to have an understanding of what this season's story and book could look like. And again, it's not even going to be indicative of truly what they are, because this is going to be 1 week of Trey Lance. It's 1 week. I guarantee you after the bye, they're going to look even better coming out of that timeline against the Colts to be able to again develop their offense and develop what they're trying to accomplish. So it's unfortunate how Jimmy went down. I didn't want to see Jimmy go down due to injury. I would have rather it just been a situation where they just decided that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't performing to the level that we want to perform, and it's going to be Trey Lance. That's what I would have preferred. I never want to see quarterbacks go down due to injury or things like that are outside their control. I'll never be like that. I'll never be like that with opposing players on the other team. But it is what it is right now. It is what it is. And right now, the Trey Lance era has begun. And because of that, I have optimism. Because of that, I see an opportunity where this team can look a lot different 4 weeks from now than they looked these last 4 weeks. And to me, there's optimism in that. To me, there's positivity in that. And I think that this team believes in Trey's talent, but he's a young kid. So we got to be patient. We got to grow with him. We have to understand he will make some bad throws. It's a lot different from Jimmy versus Trey. With Jimmy, we look at Jimmy as your 4th year in this system, your 4th year playing with some of these players. You're a veteran in this league. You were groomed behind Tom Brady, Mike McDaniels, Bill Belichick. You've been around championships. You've taken a team to a championship. Yet how are we still having rookie mistakes in the first 4 weeks of the year? How do we look at that and hold those two quarterbacks to the same standard? You can't. Jimmy Garoppolo is held to a much higher standard than Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo has been there, he's done that, and we expect more from him. With Trey Lance, we understand he's a rookie. We understand he's 21 years old. We understand he's never played a full NFL season. So there will be learning curves. There will be bad throws. There will be inaccurate throws. That's to be expected. But there lies it all. Can't have that from a veteran. So it is unfortunate with how everything occurred. But I think it's a good opportunity now for the 49ers to move forward. So how do you guys feel? What do you guys feel about Kyle Shanahan? What do you guys feel about any of it? I'll let you guys kind of run it and drop some questions and comments, and we'll do all of that. Obviously, this has clearly been an offensive day where we focused a lot on the quarterback. What about Trey Sermon? I thought Trey Sermon looked pretty good. I thought Trey Sermon definitely took a step forward. Trey Sermon looked pretty good. I thought the offensive line looked phenomenal until everything started falling apart. Then again, when everything starts falling apart, defenses start playing you differently. They start throwing more at you, which makes it a lot harder on the offense. I felt like the offensive line could have done a little bit better down the stretch. But I still think there's a lot of promise here. Mo Hurst looked good. Was I the only one who thought Mo Hurst looked good? I thought Mo Hurst looked nice. I don't know. I thought Emmanuel Mosley did a phenomenal job. I thought Dre Kirkpatrick did okay. Even I think he had the pass interference, which was a bad pass interference on him. But I thought he looked all right. I thought he looked okay. Hurst and Kinlaw are going to be a problem. I like that. Oh, perfect timing. Killa says, a bit off topic, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Mosley. His confidence and rise to his potential talent is really shining through. 100%. 100%. Like, Mosley has the potential to really save us a lot of headaches at that position. If Mosley continues to play at this level, I think he has an opportunity to do a lot. Yeah, Mo Hurst, my boy Mo. Don't sleep at all. My guy Luke says, you either love the 49ers or you don't. You're either faithful or you're not. All these comments about Trey fans or Jimmy fans are pathetic. I'm a Niners fan, and I agree. 100%. And that's a big, I think, issue with this fan base is we like to pick sides. I like to pick sides. Like in the draft, I was Team Fields all the way. I loved Trey, but I had to pick a side. Again, I wanted either Trey or Lance. It was always going to be one of those two, but I had to pick a side. That makes sense. But and when it's like guys on your team, like we're not like, is it Debo or Ayuk? We want both of them to be successful. We want both of them to be elevated and do well. Same thing. When it was Jimmy, I wanted Jimmy to be successful, man. Even though I had my doubts, even though I had concerns, even though I was a bit scared we were going to see exactly what we saw, I still wanted him to be successful. I still wanted Jimmy to do good things, good Jimmy things. But it is what it is at a certain point. And now we flow. We flow to the next. We move to the next. Like, it is what it is. And we embrace the team. We embrace like the logo, and we try our best. Right, Don? Right? We try our best, Don. The Jedi says, what's the difference in Kyle and Lynch being rookies and inexperienced and learning on the job compared to Trey? Well, I feel like that's a lot different. Trey Lance, Kyle Shanahan has been around the NFL his entire life. Kyle Shanahan has had a dad who's been a head coach. Kyle Shanahan has been on NFL sidelines since he was a kid. Kyle Shanahan was built and bred to be an offensive coordinator, to be a head coach. That like this was his path, destined for his entire life. John Lynch, a Stanford kid, who was a Hall of Fame player in the NFL. Again, we're going to look at him from the scouting department, that goes beyond John Lynch. That goes to Adam Peters, excuse me, who is the, I believe, assistant GM who got promoted from being the VP of player personnel. They have staff below them to help with scouting, to help with scouting veterans in the NFL and things like that. There's a huge difference, massive difference, because they actually have to go out onto a field and produce, whereas these guys can have meetings for weeks and like they're doing a lot of stuff on paper, at least for John Lynch. But when it comes to Kyle, yeah, is there going to be learning curves? Of course. But like I said, he's also been 100% groomed for this position. So he's probably better suited to walk into this position more so than really anyone else could be that's not in a similar position than he is. Trey Lance is a 21-year-old kid who had one really good year in 2019 at the FCS level, didn't play in 2020 because FCS canceled their season. They had one game. And then he's been training for the NFL ever since. And so it's hard to compare. There's a big difference between their situations and stuff like that. So it's hard to quantify really. But with Trey Lance, like we got to see it in front of us. Like we got to see the production play out like right in front of us. So I think that's a big difference of like that kind of situation because like think about it. Go back to Kyle. So this is the difference, right? This is the difference. I think I just came across the difference. Kyle and John went 0-9. Kyle and John went 0-9 in their first 9 games as a head coach and a GM. Trey Lance hasn't even had a start yet, and there's people in this fan base calling him a bust. That's the difference. That's the difference, is that because players perform on the field and you see it with your eyeballs and you can like literally see what they're doing, there's a lot more pressure that comes along with that. And so that's the difference. Kyle Shanahan went 0-9. 49er fans weren't sweating. We had Brian Hoyer as our quarterback. We knew why we were going 0-9. Like we weren't tripping about that. But when you trade all those draft picks to get Trey Lance, people expect Trey Lance to be able to be Mr. All-World right away. And that's just an unrealistic expectation. It's just an unrealistic expectation. And so that's why that's the difference. That's the difference. Is people don't know how to quantify rookies. A lot of fans these days, I'm starting to see, it really doesn't feel like they have a true understanding of what football development is or even looks like. You hear that a lot with Embry Thomas. You hear that a lot with Aaron Banks. You hear that a lot with Trey Sermon. You're hearing that a lot with Trey Lance. Not everyone who NFLs that or enters the NFL is at the same level. And I'm speaking that to as someone who I consider myself a developmental player. I wasn't handed a starting job wherever I went. I was never handed a starting job. I was a guy who had to work for it. I was a guy who had to develop my technique. I had to develop my footwork. I had to develop all of those things on my own so that I could be a good player and that I could start. It took me some time. It took me an entire year to learn how to pass set, just to do the kick step in pass protection. It took me an entire year, every single day, repping it over and over and over again for it to click. Like, and that's not the same for everyone. Some guys can step onto the field and they're like, all right, this is how you pass set. And like, boom, they do it. It's done. They're like, oh, I get it. It's not that hard. Some people, it takes more time. Some people, there's more of a maturation process. Not everyone learns and develops the same. So with this same situation, we don't know how Trey Lance develops. We don't know how long it's going to take for him to settle in and really hit his full potential. We just know that that's going to need time to happen, and that will have to occur, and that there's literally zero possibility of how anyone could determine if Trey Lance is a bust right now. You just can't. You can't determine if Zach Wilson is a bust. You can't determine if Mac Jones is a bust. You can't determine if Trevor Lawrence is a bust. You can't determine if whatever quarterback you want. There's not enough sample size. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But hopefully we all stick together again. And a big part of like what we do here on this channel, we're not divisive. Like we're not trying to create controversy. We're not trying to pin players and put them in bad spots. We're not trying to take coaches and put them in bad spots. We're just trying to lay out all the information and just have a dialogue about it and just does it make sense to us? Does it not make sense to us? Like we're not trying to call this dude a bust. Like it's way too premature for any of those conversations. So all we're trying to do is look at the information, see what we have, and see where we're at in each step of development, whether that's coaching, general manager, plays on the field, any of that stuff. Any of that stuff. Oh, this is a bad take. You're talking about you want to bring in the coach that destroyed Kaepernick? Why would you want to bring in the guy who destroyed Kaepernick? And then you have a quarterback who's just like Kaepernick and you want to bring in the guy who destroyed him? Why? Why would we do that? We don't do that. No, we don't do that. So I talk about this quite a bit. Yeah, maybe Kyle isn't the most emotionally intelligent person in that building. But he's very schematically intelligent. So we just have to understand, like we just have to like try to be patient. Try to be patient, man. We gotta be patient. We gotta be patient. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm not trying to get into a whole cap situation. I'm really not. I'm really not trying to. I know there's a lot of feelings about that. Again, ones that I lived through. I lived through every second of that situation. I agree. This is it. I blame Nessa. I blame Nessa. I blame Nessa. When Cap swooped Nessa from Alden, everything went bad. Everything went bad from that point. That's where I'm gonna leave it. Nessa destroyed Cap. That's where we're gonna leave it. That's where we're gonna leave it. Okay, no more Cap talk. Oh my gosh, what a terrible time that was. What a terrible time that was. So yes, a poor loss. I didn't see it released. Andrew said, "Did we get the Trent info yet?" I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it come out. So we'll see. Like I said, I got the info. It's just not my spot. It's not my place. Maybe if I had a blue check, maybe, but I don't. I don't need to get clicks that way. So we'll leave that. We'll leave that up to the blue checks. Is there a press conference today? I feel like it would have happened already. I feel like the press conference would have happened already if it were to occur. So what did you miss on the stream? Oh, you missed a lot, Dylan. You missed a lot. We got some information about Trent Williams' injury. I'm not going to divulge too much. It does sound like it is a bit of a serious injury. Doesn't seem to be season ending though. So, but like I said, we'll wait. We'll wait. Gold blooded said because Harbaugh has more than one winning season in 5 years. Kyle and John have one winning season in half a decade. Well, that doesn't mean both situations are created equal. That doesn't mean both situations are created equal. Jim Harbaugh stepped into an extremely talented team. Very talented team. If you guys recall. Shout out Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke had a really nice 2011 draft, right? Drafted the two offensive linemen, Mike Iupati, one of my favorite players. I have his jersey somewhere. I got a Mike Iupati jersey. You got Joe Staley, Mike Iupati, Goodwin, Boone, and I can't stand him, but whatever his name was, I don't know. I think I've just omitted that right tackle's name from my memory just because he retired on the 49ers twice. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. We had a really stout offensive line. We had Frank Gore. They drafted Bruce Miller in the 7th round as a defensive lineman out of UCF and turned him into the best fullback in football. They eventually brought in Anquan Bolden. You had Crabtree. You had Vernon Davis. You go onto the defensive side. You had Sopoaga. You had Justin Smith. You had they eventually drafted Alden Smith. You have Patrick Willis. You had guys like Paris Harrelson, rest in peace. You brought in guys like Whitner. You had Deshaun Goldson. That team was stacked, man. That team was stacked. Harbaugh took over a stacked team. And what Kyle and John took over was the team that group ran into the ground. So what are we comparing? What are we comparing? You might be right about the winning part, but they're not apples to apples. It's not an apples to apples situation. Like they're not comparable from this context. It's not, because they're not the same. I understand the thoughts. And Luke wants to add, they were healthy too. Yes, there was a time that the 49ers had good health. There was a time. There was a time before Trent Baalke started drafting ACL prospect after ACL again, look, I got the newspaper. Like, I lived that. That was my squad. Like, there's Kaepernick, there's Vernon Davis, there's Frank Gore. Yes, Harbaugh drafted Kaepernick, but they inherited a stacked roster. Shout out Scott McCloughan. Who drafted all those guys. He drafted a squad. And basically, and you can't discredit Harbaugh. Harbaugh was the perfect coach for that time. They needed a guy that would rally and really be able to rally the group. And they did. And that's what Harbaugh was really good at. But Harbaugh couldn't maintain that. That's why he got fired. And it goes on both sides. Excuses or reality? There's a difference. There's a reality, because the reality is he took that same 0-9 roster and he's in the Super Bowl 2 years later. That's the reality. So what are you making excuses about? What kind of narrative are you trying to push? I know facts hurt narratives, but that's why we don't care about narratives. We just care about facts, and we care about information. It is what it is. Like, what the hell, dude? My goodness. People are they find this information. And they hold on to it, but don't put it into any contextual, like through a contextual check at all. Like, why? Because it sounds good. Asa says wrong. They were losers before Harbaugh. Yes. He came in and changed the culture. Yeah, that's what we just said. It was his leadership that led the team. That's exactly what we said. Scott McCloughan built a fantastic team, and Jim Harbaugh came in and was able to rally everyone. Who got it better than us? Tony Montana's squad. Like, he was perfect. He was perfect for what we needed. It was perfect for what he needed. He just couldn't maintain it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Are we in narrative season? Are we still talking about narratives? Or do we want to talk about like real situations that have happened? Preach says, what's up? What are my thoughts on our secondary? I thought our secondary did pretty good last week. I felt pretty good about that. I felt really good with Emmanuel Mosley. I thought he did good. I thought Dre Kirkpatrick looked good in spots. I didn't really see much of like Diamador Lenore, really any other cornerbacks that really stood out, because honestly, I don't think Russell Wilson really had too many opportunities to go downfield too often, and when he did, he was targeting DK Metcalf, and then who was guarding DK Metcalf was Emmanuel Mosley, and so Emmanuel Mosley really came out looking legit. I thought Emmanuel Mosley had a phenomenal game, and I'm really happy with the game he had. Tart and Ward, they didn't really stand out to me on either way, but I could have just missed that. Like I said, I haven't done the full rewatch yet. I'm waiting for the all 22 because I don't really want to watch that broadcast back. So if I get the all 22, we're really going to be looking into it. What narrative am I pushing now? Now I'm pushing narratives, apparently. I'm a narrative pusher, apparently. Oh, what narrative am I pushing today? I don't know. I guess I'm pushing the narrative that there's still hope. I'll stick with that narrative. I'll keep pushing that narrative. There's a narrative out there that exists that the 49ers season isn't done and that there's still hope. And guess what? That's the narrative I'm sticking to. Oh, good times. Good times, everybody. Good times. We like that narrative. We like narrative. That narrative is going to come true. Let's go. We're going for the narrative that the 49ers are going to bounce back against the Cardinals. That's the narrative we're sticking to. That's the narrative we're sticking to. We're going to stick towards the narrative that we're going to see a revamped offense against the Cardinals. We're going to see a situation where the Cardinals defense isn't going to have an answer yet because they don't know what's coming for them. That's the narrative we're going to stick to. We like that narrative. We like that narrative a lot. And then guess what? The narrative is after that. The narrative is the 49ers, who the 49er fan base declared as deceased on arrival to Arizona, shock the world and take over the Birds and take them down, and now have a one. Trey Lance has a victory in his first start as they head into the bye week, and now get essentially 2 weeks to prepare for the Indianapolis Colts, where they can truly unleash Trey Lance against for the world on Sunday Night Football. That is the narrative I'm sticking to. We like that narrative. We like that narrative. Is that okay? Is that narrative okay with you guys? If you don't like it, you go somewhere else. I guarantee you'll find somewhere else pushing a different narrative. So if you if you like positive spins on things, we're your spot. If you want to just be negative Nancy all day, we're not your spot. We are not. We are not the spot for that. Oh, we keep receipts. We started that. Oh, I'm the original tackle. I started all that. We stay keeping receipts. Oh, good time, guys. All right. Okay, here we go. What do we got? Asa says in 3 weeks, the offense has only scored 1 touchdown in the first half. In your opinion, who is to blame? So this is the thing. I like this question, Asa. Thank you for getting us back a little bit on track in regards to talking about actual football play on the field and not things that happened in 2011. But honestly, go back to the Detroit Lions game. What was working really well? The combination of the run game and the ability to work the pass game off that. That's why the 49ers were up so much against the Detroit Lions and were really able to move the ball at will. Unfortunately, they let their foot off the gas. And as a result, Detroit was able to get back into the game. And we know the series of events that have occurred after that. Now, the concerning part of now then why the offense, again, you're not talking about Detroit, which is why you said the last 3 weeks. When you look at the Philadelphia game, which we did, and we broke it down and we went deep into that game, it really didn't feel like that offense was working because of the quarterback position. And now I could be wrong. It could have been a dual situation where the running game wasn't working properly and they weren't able to really work the pass game off of that. But in that first half, I didn't feel like the quarterback was settled. I didn't feel like the quarterback was confident. I don't think the quarterback was making his best throws that he could make until that very last drive of the second quarter, which is where they scored a touchdown right before half against the Philadelphia Eagles. And you can look for the same thing against the Green Bay Packers. Same thing. It was almost carbon copy halves. It was almost carbon copy of those two halves. Again, quarterback wasn't settled. Wasn't confident. And the offense was operating as such. It wasn't until Jimmy Garoppolo settled down that the offense started to move. And then once the offense started to move, Jimmy started to settle down, all that kind of stuff. So again, the offenses go as the quarterbacks go, whether we like it or not. That's just kind of how it works. When you can't really establish the run game, you have to be able to establish the pass game. You have to be able to move the football. Unfortunately, we just had a situation where it just felt like the 49ers at that time could not move the football. So, back to the original question, in your opinion, who is to blame? Yeah, I would say it's a combination. I would say those first half struggles are a combination of Kyle Shanahan having a really hard time getting the run game moving and working. And then on top of that, Jimmy Garoppolo being able to execute his function of the offense. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo was accurate. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo was making good reads. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo was feeling the pocket awareness and his pocket presence was not there. I just don't think Jimmy played very well in those two first halves. I don't think he played well. And you can see the offense doesn't function when Jimmy isn't playing well. On top of that, the offense doesn't function when it's not running the football. So I would have to, if I had to blame someone again, I came on this, we talked all week about that Packers game. And what did I say? For anyone who's been here, I talked about Kyle. I talked about this all starts and stops with Kyle. He's the head coach. He's the offensive coordinator. The offense isn't working. Therefore, I put all responsibility on him. That's how it goes. And so I still maintain that it's his responsibility. But if we have to blame someone, it's both Jimmy and Kyle, in my opinion, for either one, abandoning or not establishing the run game, and two, Jimmy's execution of the offense. Both go hand in hand. Both have interact with one another. So I think I just think Jimmy and Kyle aren't on the same page. Could they be? Do you think they would be after Kyle has tried to trade Jimmy Garoppolo all year? and then drafted his replacement? So I think the blaming is just, again, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. It's how this offseason has been handled and how it's just created this weird, palpable energy from all this stuff. IG's back. IG's back. No way. Let's go. Let's meme. I'm about to roast IG. IG's. Oh my god. Facebook's trash. It's back. Yay. IG's back. All right. Let me post to IG real quick. Let me post to let me post real quick. So Instagram's back. There we go. That's good. I was preparing to lose. I was preparing to lose about 100,000 followers. I was prepared. I was prepared. I was mentally prepared for Facebook and Instagram to be wiped, and somehow me losing about over 100,000 followers. I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen. I was prepared for it, but it's good to see that Instagram is back. It's good to see. I guess Facebook is back too, but it is what it is. All right. Yeah, let's go Niners. There's some positivity. Yo, the Wi-Fi has been carrying me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Asa likes my answer. Thank you, Asa. I appreciate that. We appreciate your super chats, by the way, as well. I really, really do appreciate that. Asa says, excellent answer. I completely agree with you. Both Kyle and Jimmy are to blame. I say all the 49ers struggles that the team has gone through 4 weeks are Kyle and Jimmy. Straight up. Because then after that, I talk about playing complementary football. Fred Warner talked about playing complementary football after this loss to Seattle. And that's what's not happening. It's the 49ers offense being in struggling the way they are. I think people don't understand how that affects the way the defense plays and the way they call their plays and the way they are trying to rather go from attacking to preemptive. There is a functional change in how defenses go about playing when their team is either operating well from an offensive standpoint and taking care of the football, or the offense can't take care of the football and are not moving the football. It changes their relationship. And it also changes the relationship between special teams. Special teams isn't playing at a high level. That also isn't going to work very, very well or to their benefit. So we saw yesterday, special teams was atrocious. Like the fact that Robbie Gould wasn't available. Like what? The fact that Robbie Gould wasn't available, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, it all starts with the 49ers offense, the inability for the 49ers offense to get into rhythm, and then how it affects everything down the line. And that's what we keep seeing. When both are playing complementary to one another, offense is churning out first downs. Offense is chewing clock. They're scoring points. It changes the emphasis of pressure. It puts the pressure on the opposing offense and takes the pressure off their own defense. Rather, when the offense isn't playing good, it puts pressure on the defense to consistently get stops. And that takes a lot of energy. Oh, this is an underrated point, coach. This is an underrated point. That's why I'm excited about Trey Lance. Because I think Trey Lance is going to bring a completely different element to this than what we could have seen with Jimmy Garoppolo. Nothing we could do with the end arounds anymore. They figured out how to stop all that stuff. Again, we saw Green Bay execute it better than the way the 49ers are trying to execute it. They were actually running counters off of what the 49ers are trying to accomplish. So I really, really think that that should happen. Um, 5011 causing problems in the chat. What's he mad about? What are you mad about, 501? Talk to me. Let's talk through it. What are you mad about, 501? We'll see. It is what it is. Obviously, uh, this week is going to be another tough week. It's going to be another long week of kind of these types of conversations back and forth. Who do we blame? Is the season over? Is it not over? I think we're okay. Honestly, again, I think the biggest point that I'm trying to make is Jimmy Garoppolo was not playing at a high level. Jimmy Garoppolo was not playing at a high level. The 49ers still had an opportunity to win all 4 of these games. The 49ers could have been 4-0, even with poor play from Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's the point. I think that's the silver lining. And I think that's what we have to look forward to is now the fact that we get a new system. We're going to see something that we don't really know what we're going to see. And I think that's exciting for me. And I'm really excited to see how that translates into the Arizona Cardinals and what that means for them. So, again, a lot of people think the season is over. Everyone's ready to pack it in. And I think at a certain point, I think we should. If you believe this 49ers team was destined for a Super Bowl, stop. Just don't think about that anymore. Think about this one game at a time. Think about it 1 week at a time, one game at a time for the rest of the year. Don't set yourself up for failure going into a season thinking that it's Super Bowl or bust when in reality you don't know. Don't set yourself up to be disappointed. Set yourself up to go game by game. And I really, really think that's how it should operate. I think if we're fans and we're operating that way, we'll have a lot better optimism about this season because we don't know what this team is. And that was the whole point of why I named this what I named it. Is the season over? It's impossible to say if the season's over because it's just getting started. That's the point. Our season's just getting started. We don't know what Trey Lance is. We don't know what Trey Lance is capable of. We don't know what that offense is going to look like with Trey Lance. We don't know if it's going to be better or if it's going to be worse. We don't know. Gammon says, true or false, 49ers beat the Cards if we run 65% of the time and win time of possession. I agree. And I will take this one step further. And we'll get to this eventually when we do a full breakdown of how the 49ers match up against Arizona, the keys to victory, keys to beating this pretty stacked team who just took down a really good Rams team. But I agree. The 49ers need to get an identity. And what was the identity in that 2019 year that everyone wants to think about and point back to and try to think that we are that today? What is that thing that everyone is not really understanding? We were a run first team who ran the ball really, really well with guys like Raheem Mostert. Well, guess what? Raheem Mostert isn't walking through that door this year. Unfortunately, Raheem Mostert is down for the year. But the hope is the 49ers get Jeff Wilson back. The 49ers get Elijah Mitchell back. And I think with those 3 guys, Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell as our speed guy, and Trey Sermon, I think we can get the 49ers running game back up to speed. And I think we can get back into that run first type of situation. Now, again, it hurts when you lose Trent Williams to the injury that he has. But That's what Trey Lance provides. Trey Lance with his ability to have zone read. All right. Well, if we understand that our left tackle, rookie left tackle, is going to have a really, really hard time to block up Chandler Jones, well, we're just not going to block him. We're going to zone read him. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have him be the read defender to either crash down on the run or quarterback contain, which means you don't have to block him. So that's how they get back to that. And that's why I'm happy. That's why I'm happy we got Trey, because Trey brings another element that these teams are going to have to learn how to defend that they've never defended from a Kyle Shanahan offense, at least in this division. So I agree. The time of possession, that gets back to rhythm. Gets back to grinding out first downs, putting drives together, running the football. When this team is playing against good quarterbacks, again, complimentary football, you will hear that phrase on this channel probably every day. Complimentary football by chewing clock, getting first downs, and scoring wins time of possession, which keeps your defense on the sideline and puts opposing offenses in different situations that allow your defense to attack rather than to be preemptive. So I agree. If the 49ers control the football, keep the ball out of Kyler Murray's hands, keep their defense on the sideline, run the football, be able to exploit the benefits of having a running quarterback, then I think there's a real possibility. I think there's a real possibility. Really, really think they do. And thank you guys. I like the numbers we're doing today. We've been chilling in the 200s. We like that, and we appreciate the super chats too as well. Really, really do appreciate that. You guys have been, even though it's a grumpy Mondays, it's seeming to be the term that I'm calling Mondays after a loss, because we have victory Mondays after a win. Well, what do we call it after a loss? I feel like grumpy Mondays is appropriate because everyone's just grumpy. Everyone's pissed off. Everyone wants to blame someone. Everyone wants to talk crap about someone. So I feel like Grumpy Mondays is a very appropriate name for the Mondays after a loss. I really do. So today was a good Grumpy Monday, but thank you guys for still the continued support. Again, the comments, I appreciate you guys. We like good vibes. Oh, Coach got a good one. Menopause Mondays. Let's go. SDS for Life. Sourdough Squad is a lifestyle. It's a way of life. Everyone is hungover. Facts. It's a grumpy ass Monday. Morning. Oh, where'd it go? Morning Mondays. Yep. Moody Mondays. We got 2 of those back to back. It is what it is. But the vibes. We try to keep it. We at least try to attack all the crap that's happening in front of us, and we try to funnel it through multiple perspectives. Good perspectives, bad perspectives, mediocre perspectives, best case scenario, worst case scenario, mid-level scenario. We just try our best. I know not everyone's about it, but it is what it is. Monday Trey, there we go. Melodramatic Mondays. I like it. Monday blues. Let's go. Yeah, so the hope is that I don't know, it's been kind of back and forth in regards to getting the all 22. So I'll wait to see when I actually get it, because we had to do Trench Wednesdays as a result. But I really do want to break down these trenches. I really want to break down these trenches because they played so good when everything was in tune and in rhythm. But guess what? When your offense isn't in rhythm, it affects everyone, including the offensive line. Makes the offensive line look sometimes worse than they maybe are. Now, the offense did have some miscues here or there, so we'll figure out why those miscues occur. So we'll see. Hopefully get to Trench Tuesdays. Might have to be a Trench Wednesday. We'll see. But again, if you have any interest in offensive defensive line play, we got slander on the timeline. Oh, that's hilarious. Raymond says, "Hey Brad, what was that about you and Jesse going back and forth on Twitter?" Oh, so all that was Jesse apparently. I don't want to misspeak, so let me pull up his tweet. Let me see. I'll tell you what that was about. I just want to make sure that I'm prefacing what he said first. Jesse had said that, so he listed all these off-season takes and used an emoji whether he was right about it or wrong about it. One of his takes was the 49ers should have signed center Corey Linsley and let Trent Williams walk. And he apparently said that before the season, and then he felt that that was the correct take right now. And to me, I was like, how can you justify like feeling good about saying, oh, we should have let the best left tackle in football right now walk because we wanted a center? And his whole premise was that he would rather have elite center play and serviceable tackle play. That was his premise. He didn't want to pay Trent all the money. He would rather have, because he's apparently too old and injury prone, he would have rather paid the center who's younger and whatever. He said he'd rather pay the center and have mediocre tackle. As a center myself, I played center. So you guys know I'm very, very passionate about my offensive linemen. Now, I put a lot of credit towards centers. Like centers have to be very smart. Centers have to be very cerebral. They have to be able to read defenses, make sure that they're calling out protections. You got to be smart. You got to be quick. You got to be, but you work in a phone booth and you have guards to the right and left of you, and you work in tandem with them a lot. Unfortunately, tackles don't. Tackles are on an island, and tackles are going up against arguably the most athletic freaks in the entire world when it comes to your Khalil Macks, your whichever pass rush, your Joey or Nick Bosa's. Like, those guys are built different. And I don't want serviceable tackles going up against those guys. To me, that's not a benefit. To me, that's a step backwards. Like, I would take a serviceable center, which is Alex Mack. He's serviceable. And an elite left tackle any day of the week. Like, I don't agree with the thought process. I don't agree with him like thinking that his take was correct. He can think whatever he wants. It's his opinion. But my personal opinion is you would always take the premier left tackle first over the premier center. That's just my opinion. Like I said, centers can work in tandem. Centers can work with guards. We centers are doubling to backer a lot. You're doubling it, double teams, tons of double teams. Not for tackles. Tackles are on an island. So that's what that whole thing was about. It was just me not agreeing with that premise of him kind of victory lapping the fact that Trent Williams got hurt because he said they should have paid Corey Linsley and let him walk. I didn't agree with the whole notion of it all. So it is what it is. How about we do this? Let's end it. If we're getting up to 2 hours. We're getting up to 2 hours. Like I said, so what we got planned for tomorrow, All kind of hangs around the tape. All kind of hinges on the tape. If I get the all 22 today or tonight, then we'll probably have a trench Tuesday. We'll break down the trenches, offense and defensive line. Really want to look at the defensive line. Again, a lot of the focus today was offense because I think that's where a lot of the major concern is coming from. Honestly, I think the defense is doing pretty damn good. Considering the circumstances. Do we agree? I think we agree. But tomorrow we hang around lives probably around 1:30. 1:30 is our sweet spot. It does kind of go back and forth sometimes. But about 1:30 is the sweet spot for tomorrow. And if we get the tape tonight, that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a tape review. It's going to be tape review day. Again, a lot of emphasis on the offensive line, but you know how it goes. We talk about receivers. We talk about quarterback play. We talk about, did the running back hit the right running lane? We talk about it all. So yesterday or tomorrow's episode will be definitely need the tape, but we have other things to talk about if we don't get it. So we're TBD at this point. But that's the vibe. That's the vibe. What we got for tomorrow. So I do want to again thank you guys for trying to be positive, optimistic, whatever you want to call it. Just being realistic, I think. I think that's kind of one of the cool things that we kind of have here with this platform. Again, it's me on the screen, but I love interacting with you guys. I love I want to know your thoughts. I want to know, like, if you don't have to agree with what I say. And that's the whole beauty of kind of what we have here. So I want to be able to see your guys' thoughts, be able to see your vibe, and we kind of support each other through this. Like, it's going to be a hard season. Like, it's not going to go exactly how we want it to go, but guess what? We have a gathering place where we can come and we can let out our frustrations, our concerns, kind of talk about it, contextualize it, try to make it make sense, and and all that stuff. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Sourdough Squad, always coming through for your boy. Weapon B. So appreciate you guys. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. Might do a Q&A later today for IG, and I might spill it over to YouTube. We'll see. But again, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you guys for all the continued positivity and love that you show me for this channel. And again, if you're new here, would totally appreciate if you coming soon, maybe. I appreciate it if you subscribed, like the video, do all that good stuff. It would really make my day. Thank you, Coach. Oh, you got bumped. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Peace out, guys. Later. We'll do it again soon. Hit that like on the way out. Oh, we're always staying faithful. You know what time it is. Let's go. See y'all later. Let's get this dub. It's Cardinals week now. It's